Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam she'ehyanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Good evening to all my dear friends who have come here tonight. And thank you for making this gathering of Hodaah special and possible. The Torah Parshas Tzav tells us of the Korban Todah, Thanksgiving offering during the era of the Beis Hamikdash. This offering of gratitude was brought by one who had survived some life-threatening experience, such as a treacherous journey or illness. However, there were two unusual requirements that Hashem commanded regarding this Korban Todah. Number one, besides the sacrificial animal which was offered, the survivor had to bring 40 loaves of bread, 30 matzahs, and 10 chametz chalas. And each challah was equal to the volume of 30 matzahs. Secondly, all the sacrificial meat and all the 40 loaves of matzah and challah had to be eaten by halach at midnight, by chatzos, that same evening. Lo sosiru mimenu ad boker. Why these unusual requirements? How is it possible for this Jew to eat all that meat and all that bread in but a few hours? Answer our Chazal. There was precisely a divine message of methodology here from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. For this Jew, it was not enough for him to express his gratitude to Hashem by himself, to himself. But perforce, he had to invite a large crowd of friends, fellow Jews, to join him in his feast and express to them all the divine blessings that he had received. They would also then share in his appreciation of Hodaah at that banquet, and thus increasing the expressions of gratitude amongst so many. Now we understand why the requirement of the 40 loaves of bread and all the meat by chatzos. My dear friends, your being here tonight has greatly enhanced this Seudas Hodaah immeasurably for us, for the family, for Chani, for the children. And we have unbelievable measures of Hakara Satov to you for that. I want to take this opportunity first to welcome my dear brother and sister-in-law, Rabbi Ben Sion Sorotskin. They actually surprised us. They flew in from New York just this afternoon, and we love them. And we're so happy that they're here with us tonight. I also want to take this opportunity to welcome my dear Mechutanim, Mr. Max and Gail Beanstock. It's a simcha for us to have you here tonight. Thank you so much. In truth, there are many expressions and emotions and thoughts that are welled up within me at this moment as I am able to stand before you, literally. Emotions and thoughts too numerous, many of them very difficult to express within but a few minutes. However, there are two thoughts that I would like to share with you which are foremost in my mind and my heart. The Yom Tov of Shavuos is but a few days away. The Yom Tov in which we, Klal Yisrael, in unison declared our eternal commitment of Naseh v'Nishma to all the 613 mitzvos of the Torah, Torah B'Sav, Torah Sheba'al Peh. And our holy sages posed the question, what was the power source for that astounding commitment to declare Naseh v'Nishma? A proclamation of such commitment which the Talmud exclaims, Megillah Labanai Razeh. Naseh v'Nishma was up to that moment a heavenly proclamation uttered only by the Malachei Hasharis, the ministering angels of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Where did the Jewish nation derive at Har Sinai the internal spiritual strength to reach out and reach up to Hashem and achieve such angelic heights? Many of our Chazal point to one glaring observation. We will read on Shavuos from the Torah portion depicting the prolific events of the Sinai revelation, on which HaKadosh Baruch Hu directly addresses the Klal Yisrael with his own divine voice, the Aseret HaDibros, the Ten Commandments. This was the very first divine communication to the Jewish nation, over 2 million men, women, and children. And at the very beginning of the Almighty's words, he introduces himself to Klal Yisrael. Anochi, Hashem Elokecha. Hello. Shalom Aleichem. Klal Yisrael. I am Hashem, your omnipotent God. I am about to present to you, my dear children, my precious Torah. But let me tell you something about myself. Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Asher hotzeisicha me'eretz Mitzrayim mibeis avadim. I am the Hashem who miraculously extricated you and your families, your wives, your husbands, your children, your friends, from the pain, from the anguish, from the terror of the daily dangers that existed in Egypt. Now I'm asking, please listen to my Torah law. Now you are able to reach the lofty spiritual heights of Naseh v'Nishma. Ask our Chazal, that's Hashem's introduction to himself. If we were Hashem's speechwriter, what would his introduction be? Anochi Hashem Elokecha asher barasti shamayim va'aretz. I am the Lord your God who created the heavens and the earth. I created all the galaxies with the millions of heavenly bodies spanning the 7 heavens. Now, please listen to my mitzvos. Do not practice idolatry, do not take my name in vain, keep the holy Shabbos, etc., etc. But that was not Hashem's introduction of himself. Rather, says the Ribono Shel Olam, my dear Klal Yisrael, do you remember 7 weeks ago when you were in anguish and pain and turmoil with no way out? I came for you. I was there for you and your children. I performed heavenly miracles to free you from your life of darkness and despair. I showered you with my love and compassion and chesed. That's who I am. Anochi Hashem Elokecha asher hotzeisicha me'eretz Mitzrayim. Yes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we remember. We now know your essence. We now recognize all your goodness and kindness and miraculous acts of chesed. We love you, Ribono Shel Olam. We're ready to embrace your holy Torah with every fiber of our beings, body and soul. Explain our Chazal, the most powerful spiritual force in our relationship to Hashem, in our avodas Hashem and avas Hashem, is not his omnipotence. It's not Asher barasti shamayim va'aretz, but it's our midah of hakaras hatov, our midah of recognizing and acknowledging every day all of Hashem's acts of chesed and wonders to us and our children. Anochi Hashem Elokecha asher hotzeisicha me'eretz Mitzrayim. Every day that we wake up in the morning is another Yitzias Mitzrayim day. Moda ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam shechzartem nishmasi b'chemla. Every morning that we're able to stand on our feet is another miraculous gift of chesed from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every moment of life is another divine blessing from Hashem, never to be forgotten. This is the profound message of the Modim Tefillah we daven in the Shemona Esrei 3 times every single day. Modim anachnu lach Hashem, we acknowledge, we recognize, Sur Chayenu, you're the fortress of our lives. Al Chayenu hamsur biyadecha, our lives are entrusted only to your hands. Al Nisecha Shebecho Yom Imanu, your life-sustaining miracles every single day of our lives. We are makir tov to you for all your wondrous acts of chesed every moment of our lives, 24/7, every evening, every morning, every afternoon. In fact, we need to declare this Modim Tefillah 3 times a day, because we are so apt to forget, to take for granted. We all know that Moshe Rabbeinu had a speech defect. Chavad peh uchvad lashon anochi. How did Moshe get the speech impairment? We know the famous medrash. We all know that Moshe was raised as an infant by Basia, Paro's daughter, in the Egyptian palace. As a small child, Moshe used to playfully grab Paro's royal crown and put it on his own head. Paro's advisors feared this to be an ominous omen, that this baby, this Moshe, would one day become the leader of the Jews and take them out of Egypt. Paro's advisors proposed the test. Place 2 bowls before the baby, before the infant, before Moshe. One containing hot coals, one containing gold. Should this young Moshe reach for the gold, then that would indicate his mature intelligence, and thus grabbing the royal crown was indeed an act of rebellion. But if he reached for the coals, then that would show his grabbing the crown of Paro as a mere playful object. The young Moshe began to reach for the gold. But Hashem sent the Malach Gabriel to push Moshe's hand towards the hot coals. Moshe grabbed one of those coals and put it into his mouth, burning his tongue, and thus his speech impairment. Asks the Ramban in Shemos, why did Moshe never daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that his speech impediment be healed? He was the Manik Yisrael. He needed his speech. He needed the gift of his speech. Why did he never daven that Hashem should heal him from that speech impairment? Answers the Ramban fantastically. Moshe Rabbeinu never wanted to forget the miraculous chesed that Hashem saved his life that day through the Malach Gabriel's intervention. The speech defect was Moshe Rabbeinu's daily reminder that every time he opened his mouth to speak, he would recall Hashem's bracha of life. Moshe Rabbeinu would rather be a leader with a speech defect than ever to forget Hashem's blessings. Even Moshe Rabbeinu, as great as he was, he needed the daily reminder of Modim Anachnu Lach. As we all heard from Moshe, just also want to take this opportunity that over the last 4 or 5 months, how Moshe stepped in for my place. Min HaShamayim, he was there, and he's doing a tremendous job. He's a pretty good speaker. But I love him. As we all heard, as we know, 6 months ago, began perhaps the most critically challenging period of not only my life, but even more so for the children and for the grandchildren. And above all, for Chani. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in his infinite wisdom, brought this upon us. Koman Yom Rachman L'Tava Avad. In a certain respect, during the first 3 critical months, I was more in an unconscious state than conscious, so much unaware of my condition. And that alone was a bracha for me. I did occasionally hear voices, Chani's voice crying out to me, some doctors' voices, Dr. Craig Reese's voice. At times I was thinking that I left Olam Hazeh. And I do consciously remember that I was asking Hashem to please keep me alive until after my grandson Aryeh's bar mitzvah. That Nachi and Batsheva's simcha not be stirred, not be ruined. Today I declare to HaKadosh Baruch Hu Modim Anachnu Lach. Ribono Shalom, in your infinite capacity for the midos of chesed and miraculous goodness, not only did you grant me extended life for the simcha, but Hashem, you were there with me every moment, in the operating rooms, during the surgeries, in the ICU, in the hospital, in the rehab. Ribbon Shalom, you were there for Chani and the children. You responded to their cries and their tefillos, and you performed the Techiyas HaMesim. And Baruch Hashem, you are still with us to this day, B'li Ayin Hara. Never to be forgotten, never to be taken for granted. I also want to express the Ribbon Shalom Hakara Satov for my family, to my wonderful children who were at my bedside in rotation 24/7. 24/7 sleepless days and nights. And to my Eshes Chayil, words cannot express the superhuman emotions and strength and faith that she had to endure and continues to endure to this very day. To my daughter Fegi, you are the fortress of strength for me, for the entire family. Words cannot express my deepest feelings of love and hakaras hatov to you. And to my dear friend, Dr. Krebris, who was in the hospital, the ICU, every single day, overseeing all the medical issues and giving direction to all the amazing doctors. But it was his direction, it was his guidance that I'm standing here today before you. You were truly Hashem's emissary. And I love you. Now for my second thought, which is not any less significant. The Medrash tells us that Moshe Rabbeinu, before his departure from this world, addresses Klal Yisrael for the very last time. And in the context of his final words to his people, we find Moshe speaking words of tochacha, of rebuke. Echad hitzil shishim riboy. Says Moshe, do you not remember when your fate was hanging on a thread during the episode of the Maaseh HaEgel, and the wrath of Hashem was kindled? The decree had already gone out. I went up to Har Sinai. I poured out my heart and soul for your lives, your children, and your survival. And I proclaimed, Hashem, Hashem, Kel Rachum V'chanan, O God, merciful and gracious, Erech Apayim Rav Chesed. You are slow to anger, and your goodness is abundant. And as a result of those tefillos of one individual, 600,000 were granted slicha, pardon, and forgiveness. Avol shishim riboy lo yochel lahatzel echad. But as for me, says Moshe, when my fate was hanging on a thread, and Hashem decreed that I would not enter into Eretz Yisrael, why couldn't you, 600,000 of you, come to my aid with your davening, with your tefillah for one individual? Moshe Rabbeinu here levels a stinging rebuke of his people. And the obvious difficulty in this passage from the Medrash is so obvious. Are we to assume for a moment that Klal Yisrael did not pray for their Rebbe, for their leader Moshe, their Rebbe who brought and taught them Torah from Sinai, the one who brought them out of 210 years of slavery, Moshe Rabbeinu who gave his very life for Klal Yisrael? Is it possible that Moshe Rabbeinu is accusing them of being totally insensitive to his needs, to the one and only request in his lifetime to be able to go into Eretz Yisrael? Is it conceivable that on Yom Kippur that year, 600,000 Jews did not daven for their Rebbe, Moshe, whose life was on the line?